Thank you, Madam Chairman. It's a pleasure to serve under your chairmanship. I would like to thank my honourable friend, the Member for the Cotswolds, for bringing this important debate today. And being the Member of Parliament for the Cities of London and Westminster, this issue is incredibly important to the economy of my constituency. International visitors are the lifeblood for so many businesses in areas such as Knightsbridge and the West End, including iconic streets Oxford Street, Bond Street and Regent Street. Retail in the two cities accounts for over 4,000 businesses, employing approximately 55,000 employees. World-famous department stores like Selfridges and Liberty, as well as the luxury brands along Regent's and Bond Streets, rely on international visitors from China, India, the USA and the Middle East. I highlight visitors from these particular countries and regions because, on average, visitors from these areas spend 60% more than EU visitors. But of course, we are also currently disincentivising visitors from both outside and inside the EU. Visitors from India and the Middle East consistently list shopping as the #1 reason for visiting London, according to Visit Britain. But visitors from these areas also state that the tax rate is a consideration when they decide where they wish to travel to, and also how much they are willing to spend when they do travel. Dr Huck, I know this government is committed to supporting retail businesses of all sizes, and I thank the Minister for her department's strong support over the challenging couple of years we have endured during the pandemic. But now is the time to kick-start the regrowth of our high streets. I know that the Minister will recognise that reintroducing tax-free shopping would be a boost to the businesses which suffered most in the pandemic, as their physical stores were forced to shut and tourists weren't allowed to travel. Dr Huck, I also stress that many of the luxury brands that visitors love to buy in shops in my constituency do in fact have factories based in the United Kingdom, further creating skilled jobs and supporting great British manufacturing. For example, Burberry, who make their iconic trench coats handmade in Castleford in Yorkshire. As a Conservative, I believe strongly in the growth potential of cutting taxes, of course. Tax-free shopping for international visitors is a perfect example of when cutting a tax rate will actually increase the total amount of taxable spending. And it goes back to my point that I made earlier, that when we are looking at how much revenue, tax revenue, international visitors bring in, it is not just about shopping. And if we take tax away from shopping and allow people to claim back tax on their shopping, they are also spending millions, probably billions of pounds, probably more. They probably spend more money on going out to the theatre, going to restaurants, drinking in our bars, going out to other tourist attractions, and paying VAT on that. And so that is why I ask that the Minister does look, if we do have if we can have an independent review of the whole situation, that we do look at the added on VAT and other taxes, including national insurance for the increased number of employees that we really want to have. If we want to grow our economy, we want to grow our hospitality sector, we want to grow our leisure and tourism sector, that is real jobs, and that companies pay corporation tax, they pay employee tax. So for all these reasons, I truly believe that reintroducing tax-free shopping will provide the much needed boost to a wide range of businesses across a number of sectors. And this is borne out of new research from Oxford Economics and the Association of International Retail, which clearly demonstrates that the tax receipts we will take from these connected sectors will far exceed the revenue lost by offering VAT exemptions on visitors' shopping. The reason for this is by offering a VAT exemption, we reverse the trend that we have seen since the abolition of tax-free shopping, where international visitors have been choosing to go to Paris instead. UK international arrivals are down 22% since 2019. Now, this is obviously the impact of the pandemic as well, but however, France's visitors figures are only down by 12.7%. And I suspect that one of the reasons for this discrepancy is because EU countries still offer tax-free shopping for international visitors. And I'd also think that the French actually improved their tax-free shopping offer for international visitors once we got rid of ours, which I think shows how important, and the French realise how important it is to attract visitors into their country. We also know that these visitors are spending less in the UK compared to other European countries. In 2022, spending by visitors in the UK from the US, for example, was 101% of 2019 levels. But in France, it was a staggering 226% of 2019 levels. So it is obvious that we must do all we can to ensure that London remains the #1 destination for international visitors. And let's not forget that when international visitors come here, they do come to London. It is obviously a huge draw to come to the capital of the city, capital city of the country, but they do go out. They go to Edinburgh. They go to Inverness to see if they can find Nessie. They go to York. They go to Oxford. And, of course, they go to the beautiful Cotswolds. And I think by reintroducing tax-free shopping, it will lead to more international visitors enjoying the rest of the United Kingdom and the other home nations. But it also, I think, what we have seen from taking away tax-free shopping for international visitors, we have seen that the number of days visitors are coming here has reduced. People come to London from all over the world, but now, rather than perhaps staying 4 or 5 days, they stay 2 or 3 days, and then they take the Eurostar to Paris to do their shopping. And that is what we really need to stop. We need to ensure that they come here to enjoy London, enjoy the rest of the United Kingdom, and shop here too. And that's why we really must ensure that we reintroduce tax-free shopping. London is one of a small number of global cities, a handful of global cities, and I fear that losing tax-free shopping is damaging our reputation as a global city. The Oxford Economics study predicted that by offering tax-free shopping, we could attract, as my friend for the Cotswold said earlier, more than 1.6 million extra visitors to the UK every year, stimulating an extra 2.8 billion in tourist spending overall. Think about the tax revenue that we could get from VAT on all the other costs that they spend here. We must not underestimate the huge impact these extra visitors have on the spending of our wider economy, not just in my constituency, but across the United Kingdom. And I really, really do believe that is one of the big attractions. It was one of the big attractions they came here. However, the key here is that, as I said, they not just spend the money on clothes, on jewellery, on watches. They spend the money on the restaurants they dine in, the black cabs they take. I checked earlier, and you do pay VAT on a black cab, so I think the cabbies should be supporting our campaign here. They go to the theatres, they go to the clubs. They spend money across so many sectors. And I know from speaking to restaurateurs, theatre owners and other stakeholders such as Hospitality UK, they are all united in wanting tax-free shopping for international visitors to be reinstated. Many of these businesses tell me that they are struggling to get back to their pre-pandemic levels of business and believe a large part of this is a reduction in foreign visitors that they are seeing, who are now preferring to go to Paris or Milan. Dr. Huck, I believe the cities of London and Westminster can be seen as a jigsaw in many ways. The hotels, the restaurants, the shops, bars, cafes and theatres all fit together neatly as a very, very impressive tourist offer. Tax-free shopping has become the missing piece from that jigsaw, and that if it is returned will not just benefit my constituency and the retailers, but thousands upon thousands of businesses across this country. And that's why I call on the government to really review the whole situation and consider reintroducing tax-free shopping for all international visitors from the EU and outside the EU.